Hello neighbors, it's Brad here at eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Titan Chain snow tire chains on a 2022 Chevrolet Silverado 3500 HD. Now, if you've never used tire chains in the snow on a vehicle, these are going to be an awesome addition if you live in an area where there's snow on the ground quite often, and sometimes they're actually legally required in certain areas. Now, if you generally don't drive in the snow but want to be prepared if snow does come, these are also nice because you can kind of keep these in your car and get them installed pretty quickly. Now, immediately, they're going to give you better traction for starting and stopping, and that's accomplished by using this ladder style. Now, that's going to give you kind of a paddle-like effect to get into the snow to get you that traction. It also has these steel rollers here, so it's going to be an overall smoother ride than some other chain options. Now, it's not as heavy duty as some of them could be, but for driving on the road in snow, these are going to be great up to 30 miles per hour. Now, these chains are applicable from tire sizes from 15-inch to 20-inch, but these ones on our 275/65/20s work perfectly. So these are going to be an easy way to give you quick traction. They're going to fit your OEM tires. Now, if you had aftermarket tires added on, you might want to check using our fit guide to make sure that you have the proper chain. Now, the low carbon steel rollers are going to be durable and strong, holding up to driving on the road for a long time. And something that's really nice is included is this storage bag for your chains when you're not using them. That way you can keep it in your vehicle, and when that snow comes, you'll be ready to put them on. Now, this is sold in a pair, so these are going to go on the rear of the vehicle because that's where you're going to want that traction. Now, these are manually adjusting, meaning some of the other ones self-tension. As you drive, they'll actually tighten up. These ones you're going to manually adjust to the size of the tire. And also not included are going to be these tighteners here, but I highly recommend picking these up, and that way you have them with your chains because they do a fine job of pulling that little bit of extra slack out, and it helps keep these centered up while you're driving down the road. Now, when installing these, you're going to want to pull this as tight as possible, but you're also going to want to drive the vehicle just a car length, and that way it kind of centers up a little bit more, and you can manually adjust it a little bit tighter. Speaking of that adjustment, let's show you how to get these on the actual truck right now. It's a fairly brisk day here at eTrailer, but snow is in the forecast, and so I want to be prepared. And part of that being prepared is making sure that your vehicle is able to get you to wherever you need to go, regardless of weather, without having to worry too much about getting stuck. And a good way to prevent that is having a set of tire chains at your disposal. Part of being prepared is actually knowing how to put these on before you're in the middle of snow trying to put them on. So let's do a test run as far as getting these installed on our truck. Now, since you're going to be probably doing this in colder weather, and also these are metal, there's a few sharp areas on it. You're going to want to have some gloves just to kind of keep your hands safe, but also warm in the process. Now, the first thing I'm going to want to do is lay out the tire chain, and that way I can see the orientation and kind of how we're going to wrap it around the tire. And it's important to note, you're going to see that there's going to be these clips here as they go. Now, there's a smooth portion here, and then you can see where that clip actually goes over to cinch it all together. We're going to want this smooth end facing out on the outside of the tire. So, looking at this, we're going to go ahead and get this wrapped on the tire. I'm going to just take the middle section here and put this over and kind of center it up. And then we have our two ends here. I'm going to go ahead and attach the rear one first. That's going to make it a little bit easier, and then we can work on the front. So you can see there is a clip here that has a large opening, and then it goes to a 90-degree where it slots down a little bit, and that's going to lock this in place when we feed it through. So we're going to go ahead and try to get this as tensioned as possible. So we're going to go ahead and take this end with our little stops here, and we're going to feed it from the outside. So you can see this 90 bends. We're going to go on the top flat side, pulling this through. We're going to get this as tight as we possibly can. And so there we have that locking in. And then there's also this clip here, which is going to keep the extra from flapping around as we drive. So same thing, you're going to want to feed this in, and that's going to kind of hold that in place. So once we have the rear tension nice and tight, we're going to go to the front of the tire here, and same premise, we're going to just feed this as far as we can, get that locked in place, and kind of moving it around a little bit just to try to find if there is any loose spots to really get that tension really cinched down to where this is tight. I think I could probably get one more. Now, if you're having trouble getting this nice and tight, you may want to adjust the back, giving it a little bit more slack so it kind of balances it out a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up a link and see if we can't get this cinched down a little bit more. So to make sure that you have the most amount of spaces pulled in for that tension, kind of pulling on both sides and really trying to get that to work in is gonna get you that tightest loop. And once you have that there, you can simply feed this through the holder here. Now, you may notice with this cinch down, there's still a little bit of play here. And so what we're going to be using is a tensioner. Now, this is not included with the tire chain kit, but I do highly recommend, as this is really going to hold that all together a little bit better. And it's pretty simple to use. You're simply going to take these stretchy bungees and just kind of loop it evenly spread out to kind of disperse the tension. And as you can see, that's going to kind of hold this in place and really keep this nice and tight, keep it from slacking around as you drive. So once you have this all on, you're going to want to repeat the same process on the other side. Now, once you have this all attached, you're actually going to want to drive just a couple feet forward, and that's going to allow it to kind of center it up on the tire a little bit better as it rotates. And then you're going to want to go back and retension just to make sure that you have it nice and tight before hitting the road. And that was a look and installation of the Titan Chain snow tire chains on a 2022 Silverado 3500 HD.